America was founded for the most part by those seeking religious freedom. Even after the writing of the Constitution, many American leaders who had not participated in the Constitutional Convention were willing to ratify it if they guaranteed certain rights like free speech, a free press, freedom of assembly, but above all, religious freedom. And so once the new nation was established under the Constitution, they amended it right away with the first 10 amendments. We know them today as the Bill of Rights. And the first of these rights, the rights regarding religious freedom. Kelly Shackelford is the founder and director of First Liberty Institute, which works tirelessly on behalf of religious freedom. We sat down with him recently for a short discussion assessing how the nation is doing regarding religious liberty.
Absolutely. America was founded for religious freedom. The founders called religious freedom our first freedom. They put it as the first two clauses of the First Amendment. And people don't understand that obviously it's somewhat about the fact that our founders came from other countries, England, etc., where they didn't have religious freedom. And that's why they came. And you have all these different denominations, but they're for religious freedom. But what a lot of people don't understand is it's our first freedom because our founders understood if you lose this freedom, you'll lose all your freedoms. And the reason for that is the one thing that a totalitarian government can never allow are citizens who hold an allegiance to one higher than the government. So whenever that type of an oppressive government would try to come in, the first splash point is always religious freedom. These people that won't bow a knee to the government. And if you lose there, you'll lose your political freedom, your right of conscience, your economic freedom, your property, you'll lose everything. So the founders got that. So they layered it in right at the beginning of the First Amendment. And of course, it's all through the Declaration of Independence. It's talking about, that this is about nature's God and loyalty to God, the Creator, the unalienable rights we have. The government was created to protect those. The government doesn't give us the rights. God gives us the rights. Those are God-given liberties, and the government is there to protect those. And so religious freedom is the foundation of our country.
We asked Kelly Shackelford how he would respond to those who would argue that the Founding Fathers were, for the most part, men of the Enlightenment in the sense that they did not affirm belief in the Christian God.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of these people that try to change history, but the reality is over half of our founders are seminary graduates. So, they obviously understood religious freedom. That was a major reason why the country was founded. You had all kinds of different denominations. The whole idea, though, was whether you're a Quaker, a Baptist, a Congregationalist, no matter what your background is, they wanted people to be able to live free and not have the government tell them what they could believe and how their relationship with God should be. That's why they came here. And they knew that basis, that freedom of conscience, was the thing that you have to have if you're going to have any other freedoms at all.
But in recent decades, there have been a number of court decisions against any kind of expression of Christianity in the public arena. No school prayer or Bible reading or posting of the Ten Commandments. The Constitution supposedly prohibits these things.
Look, the founders laid in an incredible protection for religious freedom, but our Supreme Court began to drift away of that, starting in the 1940s with some decisions that just weren't what the Constitution says or what it means. But the good news is we've got a court now, really for the first time in maybe 80 years, that are, quote, originalists. They think that you should look to the original meaning of the text. And when you do that, you go to the original meaning of the text. What did the founders mean about free exercise and the Establishment Clause? And so what's happened over the last 5 years is that there's been huge shifts in opening up religious freedom. Major cases that were used to create a hostility to religion by the government, which the founders would have never been in favor of. Those cases are being overturned.
Kelly Shackelford's legal group, First Liberty, has played a role in helping to restore more religious freedom. For example, there was a case out of the state of Washington that involved a high school football coach, Joe Kennedy, who led voluntary silent prayer in thanks to God after his games. For this, he was fired, but he sued on principle and eventually prevailed at the Supreme Court in 2022 with the help of First Liberty.
In the Coach Kennedy case, we overturned the Lemon a decision which had been cited over 7,000 times in the last 50 years to crush religious expression in public. TWA versus Hardison, we overturned in our Groff decision. That's a decision that has done incredible damage to religious freedom in the workplace. We overturned that 9-0 at the Supreme Court. So every American alive right now has more religious freedom than they've ever had in their lifetime. There is a change going on. And so people just don't realize it for the most part. But these decisions are being overturned, and we're going back to the Constitution and what the founders put in place.
In light of these developments, we asked Kelly for his opinions on America at 250, our 250th birthday on July 4th, especially in reference to the state of religious liberty. Is he optimistic or pessimistic?
I'm very optimistic about where we're going. As somebody who spent 37 years doing religious liberty litigation, the winds, the huge ships we're getting right now are like nothing I ever thought possible. And as we go into the 250th, we have huge things happening too. We've got, for the first time, a presidential commission on religious liberty, where I'm one of the commissioners. The other commissioners, we are specifically tasked to give specific recommendations directly to the President of the United States on how to secure and advance religious freedom for the future. So we're going to give him recommendations of things he can do, and he's not shy about doing things that will last, if we do our job right, way past his presidency and future presidencies, whether it's by asking the DOJ to take certain lawsuits or all kinds of ideas where we can stop a lot of these attacks on religious freedom and get back to what the founders put in place.
We've just been listening to constitutional attorney Kelly Shackelford, who founded and who directs First Liberty Institute, which is in Plano, Texas, in the Dallas area. First Liberty Institute works in the courts of our land and in the court of public opinion on behalf of America's first liberty under the Constitution, the right of religious freedom. Interestingly, because the law is on the side of religious freedom and on conscience rights, so often Kelly's group merely has to just fire off a letter from one of their attorneys to a group or district that is acting as if there is no religious freedom in this country, and that letter takes care of the matter. For Providence Forum, a division of Coral Ridge Ministries, I'm Dr. Jerry Newcomb.